I saw Messi play live once, Shakib. I saw Messi play live once, went to watch Barcelona play, set up a goal, scored a goal in the first 16, 17 minutes and broke his hand and went away. It was terrible. It was terrible. But which brings me to the next issue. And I'm going to talk about being a player and a star in Bangladesh a lot. But you like football, don't you?
Yes.
You got this picture of you as a kid playing
Bengalis,
football.
they love their football. If you talk about Kolkata, if you talk about Bangladesh, we are crazy about football. Cricket is our profession, but passion is always football.
You played on the left wing or what?
More of
So I just thought, I thought
more
left
of an
foot,
attacking midfielder.
Okay.
But when we play football, especially in warm-ups, we tend to fight. We tend to not to talk to the opponent players. We stays in same dressing room, sharing the same dressing room all the time. But when we play football, we don't tend to talk to the other players from the other team. So it's crazy when we play football, and it's not that we playing to having a dinner. Whoever loses, opponent will take them to the dinner. It's not like that. It's just a football match for 10 to 15 minutes, but we are so serious, and I don't know how many injuries that happened. Now it's, I think, a ban, or we can hardly play. We can just run around with the soccer ball, but we can play now.
You have no idea how tense it is for the fans when people start to play football. But I'm seeing the parallels already. When I know Saurav very well, but I asked Saurav about some of his biggest moments, and he talked about a penalty he scored for St. Xavier School. And I said, you might have told me about some of the innings that you played. So it's a bit like that with you. Interesting relationship with India. And I want to talk about Bangladesh-India relationship beyond just cricket. Obviously, 1971 happened. That's a big part of Bangladesh history. India has close links. They say that in 1947, most of the people who then became great artists, musicians in Bengal, a lot of them went from Dhaka or Chittagong to Kolkata and to Bengal. So that bond is very great. And yet, in recent times, there's been tension in a few games as well. Do you see that happening? I mean, I remember the Dhoni head thing that created a bit of tension. Then the Mushfiq's dance, the Nagin dance. Is this a new Bangladesh, which is harder, tougher than before?
Yeah, I think we need that character, to fight against big teams. If you don't have the character, I think we don't have go that far. So I think that's a good way, that we are harder, tougher. We want to fight. We want to challenge all the big teams. I think that came from from our generation who wants to win matches. Who wants to win matches against any team we play, and that's the mentality now, I think, transform into our supporter as well. And now they are more into the game, and they want us to win every time we face India. To be honest, every time we face any team. Now they don't think that, okay, we're playing against any big team and they played well, they lost, that's fine. It's never fine with them now, and unless until we are winning. So that's the mentality they got at this moment. So that's bring them more closer, and I think it's good for the game and good for the crowds to enjoy the game, but to a certain level. Of course, it shouldn't go beyond that. We should enjoy. We should support hard, fight hard, and end of the game, end of the game, and that's all. Then back to our reality. I think that's how it should be.
Your under-19 boys are quite feisty as well. We saw that in the World Cup too.
Okay, these guys have guts, and that's what we need. If we want to, be a successful ODI team or successful cricket team, we need those fighters. Every team has, or every generation have that. Someone will be calm, quiet, understandable. Someone will be like, no, I want this fight. I want to fight. I want to get on top of it. You need all kinds of characters. So I think we are missing those characters. Now we have few of those characters that can actually influence us to win games.
You've had some great wins over India. 2007 World Cup obviously was one. I think 2012 was a good win. You won a series 2016, was it, when Mustafizur first came You won a series, and yet there are probably 3 instances that you came that close. Obviously, the 2016 T20 World Cup and the Nidahas Trophy.
Better than that.
How long for a player like you or for Mushfiq, was in the center of it all? Does it take a long time to recover? I mean, we're almost there.
It does take a long time, So it goes in our mind sometime when you are very close to winning a game, or if it's a close game. That's the first thing we that comes to our mind. So that gave us a lot of shock, but that gave us a lot of teaching point as well. That look, it's not finished until it's finished. So that's the mentality we got now. So until we finish now, we'll never celebrate too early.
Mushfiq is a big bomb in a small body, isn't he? He's a bit of dynamite in a small body.
He is. Because he's so emotional. I think that's the word I want to put. I think he's so emotional, and he takes everything into him, and he thinks that because of him that's happened, because of him this happened, and he want to express himself, and he want to do everything by himself. So that put a lot of pressure on him by thinking like that. But that's how he is. He's the most hardworking guy in our team, because he works so hard. So he doesn't accept the failure. So so it's a mixture of so many things. But he's someone very emotional. That's what I feel. And all his emotion you can see with his Nagin dance and celebrate and saying something like that. So it's quite funny for us, but we completely understand where he is coming from. All those words or all those expression is coming from.
You can get a little emotional too. Sometimes. I mean, I wanted to come to the Nidahas Trophy, which again was your game, really was Bangladesh's game. Dinesh Karthik played inning of a lifetime once, but in the previous game you got a bit emotional as well. So is there sometimes anger just creeps in? I mean, you've had instances 2009, I think 2010, 14.
Creeps me, and I can't help it, and I don't know what can calm me down at those moments. But sometimes rush of blood, and I don't know. It's just that's one thing clicks, and I'm in that zone, and I can't get out of that zone. So that's one thing I think I can still improve on or think on, and then get better on it, because still I think that's inside me, that when I sometimes gets angry, I can control myself. Now with my 2 daughters, I'm very good at controlling my anger, but still when I play cricket, but sometimes I feel that that you need those moments, then you can think of it, and then you realize, okay, then I can get better on it. So sometimes you need those action or anger and those mistakes, so that you can learn from it.
2019 was obviously the highest point in your life, and you're floating on air, you're floating on cloud in a tournament where the very best in the world have come to compete. Everything is going right for you, and then came the suspension. What happened there? Because I was surprised when I first heard it. I said, Shakib, no, I know him. What happened there? I mean, is there now that you have a time to reflect over it? You're far away from the game. Sometimes it's great to go away from the game. You sometimes reflect over what happened.
Yeah, I thought I took it too casually, the thing that happened. Of course, I don't want to discuss everything here on this platform, but when I met the anti-corruption guy, and I told them, and they knows everything, gave them all the evidence, and they knows in and out what exactly happened. To be honest, that's the only reason I've been banned for a year. Otherwise, I would have banned for like 5 to 10 years. But I think that was a silly mistake I made, because with my experience and the amount of international matches I played, the amount of ICC anti-corruption code of conduct classes I took, I shouldn't make that decision, to be honest. So I regret to that, and I think no one should take those messages or calls lightly, or just leave it away. We tend to get thousands of calls and messages, and how many we remember. I can just only give you one example. The last time that guy messaged me, I replied to him, sorry, who is this I'm talking to? So I didn't even knew that who is this guy I'm talking to, and I talked to him 2 years back, 3 years back. So I never knew who was that guy at that time, and I didn't have his number at that time. So when they did their investigation, they knew these are the things, and then they understand the situation. But to be honest, no one should those things lightly and casually, and just say okay, leave it like that. Must inform to ICC anti-corruption guy to be on the safe side. And that's the lesson I learned. I think I learned a big lesson.
It's a costly lesson as well, but I'm very interested that you said sometimes we take things casually, because the life of an international cricketer is very interesting. You're always surrounded by people. Everyone wants to be with you all the time, and you're like a star sometimes. Well, most times you are a star. And so do you almost sometimes live in a bubble? Sometimes are you almost cut off from the normal world sometimes?
Sometimes I live in a bubble. To be honest, most of the time, but I'm surrounded some of the very good people I know, so that helped me a lot. But still, when the things are going in your way, you tend to live in those bubbles, and you tend to forget what might happen if I'm not take things seriously. And you realize that later when you miss the when you does those mistakes, and then you realize, oh, okay, I should have done that. I was living in dream or living in all those bubbles, and I was just enjoying and I didn't took things seriously, and I took things lightly, and that big mistake I made.
The other word that a lot of athletes use afterwards is a feeling of being invincible. That I have done great things, I can't go wrong. I do most things in life that you have done so far. Almost everything in life you've done so far, you've done right. So do you sometimes get carried away into thinking everything I do will be right?
Yes, I think because you do most things right in your life, you tend to get the arrogancy into you sometime to take some decisions. Okay, this is what will happen. Nothing will happen. What's gonna happen? I'm not doing anything wrong, but you're doing things wrong by the books. Maybe not with your ethical thing or something like that, but if you have a rules and regulation, by that you are making some mistakes. But sometimes you tend to forget that. So that's what happened to me. And as I say, I took things lightly or casually, and I didn't pay any attention, and I never thought of course, that never came true in my mind that I'll do something wrong. It just, okay, what's gonna happen? Leave it. And I live my life. But that's the mistake I made. And that happens with some other players too, not players, and in some other people's life.
Has that made you hungrier to come back? Because obviously a lot of your fans would have been a little disappointed, because you're a huge role model. I mean, I still remember the last time I came to Bangladesh, from the airport to the city, there was only one person on all the billboards, all the hoardings, there was only one person. So a lot of your fans would have been a little disappointed. Is there some feeling within you saying, you know what, I need to go back and deliver to my fans? Do you think like that sometimes, or do you just forget it's over?
This time and this situation taught me things completely differently now. Previously, maybe I was playing for the country, for myself, my family, but now what I only think is what I can do to give them back, the people who have been supporting me last 12-15 years, and they were disappointed the action I made, and how can I repay them and back them with some more. So that's the only mentality now I have.
Now, 2009, you're already captain of Bangladesh, and you're still such a young man. You're already captain of Bangladesh. You and the captaincy has been an unusual relationship, right? Sometimes there, sometimes not there, sometimes enjoying it, sometimes not enjoying it. Did you get it too early? In retrospect, as you think back?
I think I did get it very early. in my career. I think, if you want to become a captain, or if I want to become a captain, if I look back, I would say not before 28. And when I got my captaincy, I think I was 22. So it was very early, and I needed a guide who can guide me at that stage. I was lucky to have those people around me, but still I think it was too early for me to get that job. I tried my best, but if I look back, I see there are a lot of things I could have done better when I see myself now, when I understand the game now. So it was completely, I think, mostly those decisions have been taken from your emotion, not from your head. When you are so young, young blood, you say, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
This is what I'll do. This is the decision I'm taking. And I'm the only one who knows cricket, and I'm right all the time. These are the things. Now I can get the opinions, I can think about it, sleep on it, and then I can take the decision. And most of the time it will be a correct decision than a wrong decision. But when I was 22 or 23, I tend to take decisions, with my instinct, from my heart, not from my mind most of the time. So when I look back, I think not before 28, captaincy thing.
But even thereafter, you once said, I think it'll be best for Bangladesh cricket if I'm free to perform. If I have to be captain, then certain things have to happen. But for the team, it is best if I'm left alone to perform. Is there almost a feeling that sometimes captaincy can be a burden, a responsibility, that it affects your game? Did that ever happen to you?
It never affected my performance, but it put me in a lot of pressure because, I don't know, how should I put it? So every time, even if I am performing and the team is not performing, the blame will come to you, and which I couldn't accept at that time. Now I can accept it because I know what the expectation is from a captain. But at that time, I didn't have this thinking that, yes, you have to play well and you have to make sure that your team is performing well at the same time. So these are the two things was very important. Now I realize that, which I wasn't realizing at that moment. So that's, I think, the reason I said, if I left alone, play my game, I think I'll be better off for the team.
Someone like Mashrafi, for example, now Tamim has got the captaincy for a while, Mushfiq got captaincy for a while, but someone like Mashrafi just seemed to enjoy the role, right? He seemed to relish the role. How was it playing with Mashrafi Murtaza? Because you think of Bangladesh cricket, you think of players, you think of Shakib, Tamim, Mushfiq. Before that, they've been good players as well. You think of captain, you think of Mashrafi.
Yeah, I think since end of 2014 he got his captaincy, or early 2015 he got his captaincy, and since then I think he struggled for a bit, first 2-3 months or 2-3 series, and after that I think he just realized that he's someone who can lead Bangladesh to another level. I think, and he done that quite well. During his time, I think we have the most successful ODI team in the history of Bangladesh. So he must have done something very, very well for the team and for himself, to take us, to another level.
People talk about all the great all-rounders of the game. In recent times, the one name everyone talks about is Jacques Kallis. Kallis used to be very quick when he started, then started batting 3-4, bowling became less, but he was always a batting all-rounder. Do you see yourself as equal, or is batting still? Because, the reason I mentioned that is you've taken 20+%, 22% of all the wickets via Bangladesh in matches that you've played. That's a ridiculous stat. So what do you see yourself as?
To be honest, batting gives me more satisfaction, but because I work hard on it. Bowling is something naturally that came to me. But it's something, one relates to another. So if I am bowling well, that tend to give me confidence with my batting. If I'm batting well, that tend to give me confidence in my bowling as well. So I can, think of myself doing batting more, bowling less, or bowling more, batting less. So I want it both 50-50, not even 49-51.
So that was the game in the West Indies. You got 110 wickets in a test match. But I suspect the Australia match would be better, right? 10 wickets in a game against Australia. And you got 84 in that game?
Yes, I think 84 or 87, something like that in the first innings, and 5 wicket each, I think, in the second innings. Yes, that gave us a lot of, confidence. And to be honest, we are never, no one really think of us a test playing country, but beating England and Australia, now people see us in a different way. As long as you are winning test match against big countries, or you are winning the World Cup or playing the final of the World Cup, they don't, look at you in that way. So that was a huge milestone for us. Obviously, the Prime Minister was there to witness the match against Australia. So
she likes her cricket, doesn't she?
Yes. So you can imagine how excited we were, to win that match, because whole country wanted us to win against Australia, because it was time for us to perform in test level, at least at home. Still, I think we have a long way to go, when we go overseas, but at home now, I think we have a team that can beat any side.
I'll come back to that in a minute about playing overseas and at home. But while we are on some of your best performances, there was also that double 100 in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. It's a game that's almost gone. You pulled it out. So I'd love to know what you think if you had to pick one performance. I mean, the reason I say that is towards the end of his career, Sunil Gavaskar was asked, which was the innings you're proudest of? And one of the innings he said was a half century in England. He said he got a 50 in England that he was very proud of. And nobody else put that among great innings. So for you,
just like World Cup, the 50 against Afghanistan gave me more satisfying than any other innings. Obviously, for me, England 100 was the best one, but against Afghanistan, I think I worked harder than any other innings I played. So these are the things that happen normally to a cricketer. So if you talk about are you talking about just cricket, test cricket?
International cricket. One, you look back and say, you know what, that is the one innings, or that is the one performance that I'm proudest of.
I think it was against Sri Lanka 2009 or 10 in ODI. So we lost against Zimbabwe, and we had to win against Sri Lanka and get the bonus point to play the final. So we did that. I think I scored 91 or 92 in 66 or 67 ball. So that gave me a lot of confidence, a lot of satisfaction. Even if I look back, if you talk about one innings, I know I have few innings. That's the innings, that comes to my mind first.
Tell us a little bit about BKSP, because you talk very fondly. I've heard you talk very fondly about learning at the BKSP. Do you sometimes still go back there? Is it a good sentence? Sometimes still go back there, talk to the younger people?
I mean, I think I had my best time in my life during those 5-6 years I spent in BKSP. It's a institute where we study and train. I learned everything from there, to be honest. My mentality got stronger from there. I got discipline from there. I knew how much sacrifice I need to make to become a cricket player. And I was lucky to get some of the best coaches of Bangladesh in that time in BKSP at that same time when I was studying. So I was very lucky. Even now, I mean, we have a batch who goes together still now once a year, celebrate the moments. I mean, that's the best place I could go to. If you ever ask me in Bangladesh where you want to go, BKSP all the time, even on my vacation. So that's how much I like that place. Even I'm planning to come back to training. I think the BKSP is the place I can go and train for a month, and then I can come back and start playing cricket.
And there's plenty more coming up in part 3 of Cricbuzz in Conversation, this special program with Shakib Al Hasan.